Hey guys, and welcome to my 4.2 Holy Paladin guide. My name's Jordan, and this video will teach you how to heal as a Holy Paladin. There might be something in this guide that you just simply don't agree with, which is fine. A lot of it is based off of my personal preferences as a healer, but a lot of it is also based off of research that I've done for the Holy Paladin class. I've put some links in the description box below to some Holy Paladin resources as well as some other stuff, so feel free to check that out and enjoy the guide.
Spells and usage. The short version of how to heal is: keep your beacon on the tank, judge off of cooldown, or as close to it as possible for the mana gain. Don't let someone die because you needed to judge. Holy Shock off of cooldown for infusion of light procs, as well as the 2-piece tier 12 procs. Use Holy Light, Divine Light, and Flash of Light depending on how big of a heal someone needs. Use Holy Power as needed. Use Light of Dawn if a group of people stacked near each other need heals, or use Word of Glory if you need to heal one person. Remember that your Light of Dawn heals will transfer to your beacon, and don't forget to use your cooldowns. Healing cooldowns. Guardian of the Ancient Kings, 5-minute cooldown, summons a guardian that will heal the same target you heal for the same amount, and will also heal all friendly targets within 10 yards of the target for 10% of the amount healed. He stays around for the next 5 heals casts. It's good for AoE intensive parts of a fight or if you need extra heals on your tank. Avenging Wrath is on a 2-minute cooldown and increases all healing done by 20% for 20 seconds. Divine Favor. 3-minute cooldown and increases spell casting haste by 20% and spell critical chance by 20% for 30 seconds. Divine Plea. 2-minute cooldown and you gain 18% of your total mana over 9 seconds, but the amount healed by your healing spells is reduced by 50%. Damage Reduction cooldowns. Aura Mastery increases the effect of your active aura by 100%. This is our raid cooldown and is best used with Resistance Aura. There's a lot of fire damage in Fireland, so you will see yourself using this a lot during boss fights. Hand of Sacrifice transfers 30% of the damage taken from whoever you cast Hand of Sacrifice on to you. This cooldown is great to use on a tank that is taking a ton of damage, but make sure to use it with Divine Protection or Divine Shield. I don't think Divine Protection increases the damage you take from Hand of Sacrifice, but I use it with it anyways just in case I get hit by something else while it's up. Tips. You shouldn't use Divine Plea and use either Avenging Wrath or Divine Favor to make up for the 50% healing reduction. Instead, use Divine Plea on its own during a point in the fight where healing isn't very intense. You can also use it with a Potion of Concentration. It's a good idea to use Holy Radiance with Avenging Wrath or Divine Favor for extra AoE healing if your raid needs it. Try not to use Holy Light on your beacon target, but rather on someone else taking damage. Your Holy Light heals now transfer 100% to your beacon target since patch 4.2. Beacon swapping. If there are 2 Holy Paladins in the raid and both tanks are taking constant damage, then put your beacon on the tank they are assigned to heal and vice versa. And here is an amazing picture I drew in paint. The Paladin on the left is healing the tank on the left, but since he put his beacon on the tank on the right, 50% of his heals he does are being transferred. Spec and Glyphs. Glyph of Seal of Insight increases the effect of your healing spells by 5% while Seal of Insight is active, a must-have for any Holy Paladin. Glyph of Divine Favor increases the duration of Divine Favor by 10 seconds. Glyph of Word of Glory increases the healing done by Word of Glory by 10%. Another glyph people put into consideration is Glyph of Holy Shock, which increases the critical strike chance of Holy Shock by 5%. The major glyphs I use are Glyph of Divinity. When you use Lay on Hands, you gain 10% of your maximum mana. Glyph of Light of Dawn, which makes your Light of Dawn affect 1 additional target. And Glyph of Divine Plea, which makes Divine Plea provide an additional 6% of your total mana. The minor glyphs I use are Glyph of Blessing of Kings, Glyph of Insight, and Glyph of Blessing of Might. This is the base spec for Holy Paladins with 4 points remaining to put wherever you see fit. This is the spec that I'm currently raiding with. Protector of the Innocent. You should put 3 points into here. The self-healing you get every time you heal someone else is pretty good. Judgments of the Pure increases your casting speed by 9% for 1 minute every time you judge. You must have 3 points in here. Clarity of Purpose reduces the cast time of Holy Light and Divine Light spells by 0.5 seconds. I put 1 point into Last Word since I don't use Word of Glory that often, and I feel like with 1 point it crits enough for me. Putting a second point here is completely optional. Divine Favor is one of our major healing cooldowns, so it's worth 1 point to get. Infusion of Light increases the crit chance of Holy Shock, and if it crits, reduces the cast time of your next Holy, Flash, or Divine Light by 1.50 seconds. Another must-have. Daybreak makes your Flash, Holy, or Divine Light heals have a 20% chance to make your next Holy Shock not trigger cooldown if used within 12 seconds. This is great for more infusion procs and should be picked up. Enlightened Judgments grants you hit rating equal to a percentage of your spirit. 1 point is enough to get melee hit cap needed for your judgments. It also increases range of your judgment and heals you when you judge for a small amount. Beacon of Light. After you put your beacon on somebody, every time you heal someone else in your group, 50% of the heals will be transferred to your beacon target. Speed of Light grants 3% spell haste and reduces the cooldown of Holy Radiance by 40 seconds. Casting either Holy Radiance or Divine Protection will increase your movement speed by 60%. Sacred Cleansing is optional based on if you have other healers handling dispels or if the encounter doesn't require dispelling. Paragon of Virtue reduces the cooldown of Divine Protection and Hand of Sacrifice and Avenging Wrath. We use all these spells often, so this is definitely worth it. War Mastery is our raid cooldown, definitely worth picking up. Conviction gives a 3% bonus to damage and healing for 15 seconds after causing a critical effect from a spell or ability. This effect stacks up to 3 times. Tower of Radiance gives you holy power if you directly heal your beacon with Divine or Flash of Light. You shouldn't be always throwing direct heals onto your beacon, but it's nice to get some holy power if you need to. Blessed Life gives you a chance to gain a charge of holy power if you're hit by direct damage. I noticed it proccing a lot with just 1 point, and I wouldn't suggest putting a second point into here. Light of Dawn is our frontal cone AoE heal, which consumes all holy power and heals the 5 most injured targets, 6 if you're glyphed. Divinity increases all healing done by you and all healing effects on you by 6%. Eternal Glory gives your Word of Glory spell a 30% chance not to consume holy power. Crusade increases the healing of your Holy Shock by 30%. Improved Judgment increases the range of your judgment. I'm alright with 1 point in here, but some people like the ability to judge from further away. Pursuit of Justice gives you increased movement speed. I feel like if you have a boot enchant to increase movement speed and also have points in Speed of Light, that these points could be used elsewhere. Stats. The following are the stats us Holy Paladins use from best to worst. Intellect, Spirit to Comfort, Haste, Mastery, Crit. Intellect gives us spell power, spell crit, and increases our maximum mana. Spirit gives us mana regeneration. Stack enough spirit until you are comfortable with your mana regen. Haste increases our casting speed and also could give us additional Holy Radiance ticks. You should be reforging crit and mastery to haste until you feel comfortable with your spell casting speed. Mastery increases our absorbs from Illuminated Healing. Illuminated Healing causes your direct healing spells to place an absorb shield on your target for X% of the amount healed, lasting 15 seconds. Since one of the latest patches, this absorb can stack but can't go past 1/3 of the Holy Paladin's health. Critical Strike rating makes your spell critical heals heal for 200% of their normal amount. Gems. You should be using Ember Shadow Spirit Diamond for your meta. You should mainly be stacking Brilliant Inferno Rubies with the exception of the 2 yellow Reckless Amber Topaz gems you will need to activate your meta. If you think a socket bonus is worth getting, then use a Purified Demon's Eye if you need to cover a blue socket. Enchants. This is a list of enchants you should be using. Please pause the video if you need to take a longer look at them. The only 2 enchants you will have to make a choice for are your weapon and boot enchants. For your weapon, I suggest Power Torn if you are geared enough and don't need the extra spirit. For those just starting out, I would stick with Heartsong. For the boots, Lava Walker is good for the added movement speed if you skipped points in Pursuit of Justice, but Haste is also good if you don't want the speed increase. Food and Consumables. Our 2 mana potions that we have to choose from are Potion of Concentration and Mythical Mana Potion. The Conch Potion is better choice in fights where you have a few seconds of downtime and most healers usually use it. The Mythical Mana Potion gives you back less mana than the Conch Potion, but if you absolutely need mana right away, you should pop one instead. I recommend having both potions on you at all times. The flasks you can choose from are Flask of the Draconic Mind or Flask of Flowing Water. I, like most healers, like to go for the Intellect Flask, but if there's a fight where you need more regen, then use Flask of Flowing Waters instead. If you are running in a group or raid, there's usually a seafood feast available that will give you 90 of your highest stat, which should be Intellect. If your raid or group does not have one of these, then be sure to bring your own severed sagefish head food, which will give you 90 Intellect as well.
Thanks for watching this guide. I hope it helped answer some of your Holy Paladin questions you may have had.